Macromolecules. Large molecules made up of many small organic molecules that are often referred to as monomers. Example: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Macromolecules are polymers of monomers. Macronutrients. Elements needed by plants in relatively large primary and smaller secondary quantities. Foods needed by animals daily or on a fairly regular basis. Malleus. One of the bones comprising the middle ear of mammals. Mast cells. Cells that synthesize and release histamine as during an allergic response, found most often in connective tissue surrounding blood vessels. Maximum sustainable yield, or MSY, the maximum number of a food or game population that can be harvested without harming the population's ability to grow back. Medulla Oblongata, the region of the brain that, with the pons, make up the hindbrain, controls heart rate, constriction and dilation of blood vessels, respiration, and digestion. Medusa, the motile bell-shaped form of a body plan in nidorans. Example: jellyfish. Megakaryocytes, cells found in the bone marrow that produce platelets. Melanocytes, the cells in the inner layer of the epidermis that produce melanin. Membrane attack complex, or MAC, a large cylindrical multiprotein complex formed by the complement system, kills invading microorganisms by embedding in their plasma membrane, creating a pore through which fluid flows, ultimately causing the cell to burst. Menstrual cycle, the recurring secretion of hormones and associated uterine tissue changes, typically 28 days in length. Mesozoic Era, the period of geological time beginning 245 million years ago and ending 65 million years ago. The age of the dinosaurs and cycads. The Mesozoic falls between the Paleozoic and Cenozoic eras and includes the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. Metabolism, the sum of all chemical reactions, energy exchanges in cells. Metamorphosis, the process of changing from one form to another. Example: in insects from the larval stage to the pupal stage to the reproductive adult stage. Metastasis, the process in which cancer cells break away from the original tumor mass and establish new tumor sites elsewhere in the body. Methionine, the amino acid coded for by the initiation codon. All peptides begin with the methionine, although post-translational reactions may remove it. Micelles, structures formed when bile salts surround digested fats in order to enable the water-insoluble fats to be absorbed by the epithelial cells lining the small intestine. Microfilaments, rods composed of actin that are found in the cytoskeleton and are involved in the cell division and movement. Microgametophyte, stages of the plant life cycle that develops from and within a microspore. The microgametophyte produces sperm in specialized structures known as antheridia. Micropyle, the end of the embryo sac where the egg cells and the synergids are located. Microtubules, filaments about 25 nanometers in diameter found in cilia, flagella, and the cytoskeleton. Middle lamella, a layer composed of pectin that cements two adjoining plant cells together. Molecular biology, field of biology that studies the molecular level of organization. Monoculture, the growth of only one species in a given area, such as a cornfield or other agricultural field. Monocytes, white blood cells that clean up dead viruses, bacteria, and fungi and dispose of dead cells and debris at the end of the inflammatory response. Monosaccharides, simple carbohydrates usually with a 5 or 6 carbon skeleton. Example, glucose and fructose, a carbohydrate composed of a single sugar unit such as glucose, ribose, deoxyribose, etc. Morph, a distinct phenotypic variant within a population. Medulla, the solid ball stage of the pre-implantation embryo. Multicellular organisms, organisms composed of multiple cells and exhibiting some division of labor and specialization of cell structure and function. Mutation, any heritable change in the nucleotide sequence of DNA, can involve substitutions, insertions or deletions of one or more nucleotides. Myelin sheath, layers of specialized glial cells called Schwann cells that coat the axons of many neurons. Myofibrils, striated contractile microfilaments in skeletal muscle cells. Myosin, thick protein filament in the center sections of sarcomeres.